Hello everybody, welcome back to True Gunners TV. We're back again, back with some transfer news this time around, and it is looking increasingly likely that Arsenal will not be doing any more transfer business in this summer transfer window in terms of incoming players, which is really disappointing for me because we desperately need more than what we've got right now. Plenty of outgoings to talk about though, guys. Plenty of things to be talking about surrounding the outgoings. But first of all, big up to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Very much appreciated, by the way. The subscriptions have gone up on a madness just recently. So welcome to all the new subscribers. Very much appreciated. I'm glad you're all enjoying the content. Make sure you keep slapping them likes. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well so you never miss a video on the channel, of course. And look, guys, get yourselves in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts and feelings surrounding this topic here. As I said, looking increasingly likely that Arsenal are not going to do any more transfer business in the remaining 2 to 3 days. Plenty of outgoings to talk about, and we're going to get into that right now. Of course, just slap them likes up, guys, and get yourselves in the comment section. So the first one we're going to be talking about is Rob Holding. Now, Fabrizio Romano tweeted out a few days ago that Rob Holding is still expected to leave Arsenal in the final days of the transfer window. There are discussions now ongoing to make it happen. Understand there are also Spanish clubs asking for conditions on the Rob Holding deal. Of course, there's been an outgoing today that has happened as well, which is, of course, Nuno Tavares. I'm going to share the screen with you guys around this one, and then we'll get into talking about them. Nuno Tavares to Nottingham Forest. So Fabrizio Romano had this to say. Nuno Tavares to Nottingham Forest. Here we go. Deal agreed with Arsenal on loan until June 2024. Understand the loan fee will be a bit higher than £1 million, plus a £12 million buy option. Medical test being completed today. New left back for Forest, plus Murillo. Deal done since Friday. So Nottingham Forest have signed Nuno Tavares, this time on loan. On loan, guys. What do you make of this one? Because if you remember rightly, I don't know how many of you actually follow Fabrizio Romano on Twitter, and I'm sure a lot of you do. But it was only 9 days ago that Nottingham Forest went after Nuno Tavares. Nottingham Forest were willing to pay up to £30 million, so it was reported. And now we've let him go there on loan. Make that one make sense, guys. You know, if you can get a transfer fee for the player, why not do that? Why have we sent these players out on loan? This is Kieran Tierney that's gone out on loan now. Nuno Tavares has gone out on loan now. We don't know what's going to happen with Rob Holding, but if he leaves on a permanent deal, I should say, we'll probably get a maximum of about £5 million for him, because let's be honest, he's not worth any more than that, really, let's be honest. So, yeah, not looking good. Not looking good, especially when Arsenal need to sell players in order to go back into the market and buy. Hence the reason why we got David Raya on loan, due to FFP reasons. So with 3 days remaining, Arsenal are not going to be going into the transfer market by the looks of things to address the situation, mainly in defence, guys. Yeah, we all sat here after Declan Rice signed and said, look, we need cover for Bukayo Saka. We need another striker. And now the priority is defence, because for some reason we're letting all of our defenders leave the football club. And look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm disappointed that Nuno Tavares is leaving. I'm not sitting here saying I'm disappointed that Rob Holding is leaving, because at the end of the day, these players needed to move on from the football club. But you have got to replace them. As of right now, as things stand, we have less defensive options than what we had last season. We do. You know, Nuno Tavares was out on loan last season, so that doesn't really affect our depth in terms of what we had last season, because he was already out on loan last season. But if Rob Holding leaves the football club and Kieran Tierney has already left the football club, we have not many options in defence. Not many options. People will look at me all surprised and be like, "What are you talking about, my friend? We've got Tomiyasu, Kivior, Zinchenko, Ben White, Saliba." Well, part of the reason why we're playing Thomas Partey at right back is because we don't have the cover in order to play the way the manager wants to play. Now, for me, the manager has to be more adaptable. The manager has to adapt to the players that he has at his disposal, even if that means changing your style of play for the sake of 3 to 4 games until your main players come back fully fit again. But as we know, Mikel Arteta is a stubborn, arrogant, you know what, and he will try and do whatever he can to make sure he can still play the way that he wants to play, even if the players don't look comfortable. And look, we see that over the past 3 games. I called it on the first day of the season against Nottingham Forest. People were calling me negative, saying, "Oh, what's this guy talking about? Oh, be happy we won." And then, of course, at the weekend, we see exactly what I was talking about, exactly what Lee was talking about, and Northside and all the other guys, that that look on this in a different perspective to all the, oh, it's all flowers and rainbows and everything's fantastic. Now, if Arsenal do not enter the transfer window, get yourselves in the comments section, guys, because this is a question for you. If Arsenal do not enter the transfer window and sign another defender at the very least, where do you think we will finish this season? Because I'm looking at our defensive options. Zinchenko gets injured on a regular basis. He cannot be relied upon. Very good player in terms of us going forward and doing the inverted role that the manager wants to do. But in terms of keeping fit, Zinchenko is another injury-prone player. Tomiyasu, very much the same thing. Of course, he missed the Fulham game due to suspension, but very injury-prone player as well. Kivior, not ready for me, not ready. Then you've got Gabriel, who's sat on the bench right now. Nobody knows what's going on with that one. Why? Why is Gabriel sat on the bench? Somebody answer me that. Because I talk to a lot of Arsenal fans, obviously, through doing this. And even the most ardent Arteta fans cannot understand why Gabriel sat on the bench. So, somebody needs to come up with an answer for that one. Saliba, of course, our best defender, no doubt. Then you've got Ben White, who is being played as a centre-back right now, but is predominantly, better played as a right-back. We see that last season, arguably one of the best in the league. So that's our defensive options. 2 of them are injury-prone. 1 of them's not ready yet. And the other 3 that we've got, 1 of them's sat on the bench, and 1 of them's playing centre-back when he should be playing right-back. So we're very limited. Very, very limited. And we're playing a lot of football this season, a lot of competitive football this season. It's not Europa League no more. Yeah. You can't get away with just, we'll play, I don't know, Reece Nelson on the right and we'll play Rob Holding at the back, doing all them silly changes and playing a second string team in the group stages of the Europa League. You can't do that in the Champions League. We haven't got squad depth. And you know what's the funniest thing? There's barely anyone complaining about this. I think I'm probably one of the most ardent complainers about this right now. And it's ironic to me because all the so-called big Arteta fanboys, their excuse for us not winning the league last season was the lack of squad depth. Well, we've got less squad depth now than what we had last season. So why are you not up in arms right now? Why are you not complaining? Why are you not going, what the hell is going on? Because let's be honest, the transfer window, when it started, it was very, very promising by Arsenal. We were signing up new players to new contracts. Got William Saliba signed up to a new deal. Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, all our top players that you want to keep at the football club signed up to a new deal. Then, of course, you go into the transfer market. You buy Kai Havertz. Not a great start. Let's be honest, nobody really wanted Kai Havertz. I don't think you could find any Arsenal fan in the world that would have wanted Kai Havertz at the end of last season. But we signed him, £65 million, down on the table, manager's choice, cool. Then Urian Timber comes in and Declan Rice are roughly around about the same time. Declan Rice, 105 million, Urian Timber around the £34 million mark. So you're looking, you're thinking, okay, 200 million pounds spent. Excellent. All we need now is a couple of more pieces to the puzzle, and we can sit here and be confident that we can actually go and compete again this season and maybe even win the league. All we need now is a right winger to cover Bukayo Saka and another striker that is good enough to offer us something different and score goals. And then since then, Mr. Gaspar, Mr. Edu Gaspar, Mr. Mikel Arteta, we signed Declan Rice, a month and a half ago? And we've done nothing since. Nothing since. Yes, we've sold Matt Turner and we've replaced him with David Raya. That was a deal that needed to be done. You cannot sell your second choice goalkeeper and not replace him. So that was a necessity, right? And okay, we got an okay fee for Matt Turner. Yeah, we sold Granit Xhaka at the beginning of the transfer window. We got a decent fee for Granit Xhaka. Austin Trusty, the PR signing by the football club to break into the American market. We sell him for £5 million. So far, not including the Nuno Tavares, not including the Kieran Tierney, of course, because they're both on loan, although we're receiving a £1 million fee for Nuno Tavares, which, can you really count that against your transfer budget? We have spent £240 million and we've recouped roughly around 30 million, 40 million. Is that good enough? No. When you think about all the other players that we've still got on our books right now, and we're going into the last 3 days of the transfer window, and we've still got Nicolas Pepe on our books. We've still got Sambi Lokonga on our books. Currently, we've still got Rob Holding on our books. We've still got Cedric on our books. What's going on? Why have these players not been moved on already? Why are we not prepared and ready to go back into the transfer market to do the business that is required? Why? Why are we sat here 2 days to go, not being linked to anyone? ESR potentially could possibly go to Chelsea, so the links are saying. I don't believe that deal will happen. I believe that if that deal does happen, well, you send one of your academy prodigies to Chelsea after you've just took one of their most average performers over the past 3 years for £65 million. That screams negligence in terms of the transfer market to me, And look, I wouldn't be 100% against selling ESR because he's so injury prone. He hasn't had the minutes at Arsenal. Don't see the point of him being a player that's sitting there on the bench, never going to make the first 11. You're better off getting the money for him and bringing somebody else in who will improve the team and the first 11. But if you sell him to one of your rivals in the league, Jesus Christ, there will be hell to pay. And there's a lot of big decisions going around at the moment. There's a lot of big decisions being made by this manager, and Edu Gaspar that will either make or break their careers at Arsenal for me. Because if we do not do what is required and we do not challenge for the league this season, which for me right now I cannot see, they have to be sacked. They have to be. And nobody can argue with me on that one, because I will tell them straight. We've put up with it for 3 years. Yeah. We had a really good season last season. The only thing that didn't make it a fantastic or an excellent season was the fact that we didn't win anything. But in terms of our league position, very good. Should have won the league. But once again, it comes back to the mentality of the players, the manager. We simply weren't good enough in the end, and that's it. We wasn't good enough. People will blame it on Saliba. People will blame it on squad depth. People will blame it on whatever they like. The fact and reality is, this manager has previous. Go back to the season beforehand. Prime position to finish 4th and qualify for the Champions League. And we bottled it to our arch nemesis, by the way. So for anybody here that may or may not think the manager is going to take us to the promised land again this season, think again, guys, and get yourselves buckled in, ready for a long, long ride, because it's going to be. I'm telling you that one for a fact. By the way, guys, if you're new watching, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Appreciate everybody that's subscribed to the channel so far. We are literally 79 subscribers away from 2,000. If we can get there by the end of this month, we've got 2 days to do it in. Got plenty of content coming out for you guys. We're going to be streaming the Champions League draw. That should be very interesting, so make sure you're about for that one. And of course, transfer deadline day as well. If we can get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of this month, I will give out 5 free, 1 month free memberships to 5 random people that are subscribed to the channel, and we will sort that out once again. I did it before. I'll do it again for you guys. If we can get to 2,000 subscribers in the next 2 days, that would be excellent. And I'll definitely do that for you guys. No problem at all. And yeah, so share the content around, guys. It really does help. It really does. Let's get into a few of your comments. Yes, Wagner says, not over yet until Kai Havertz is sold. Oh dear, that ain't going to happen though, is it? Where are you, bro? At home. At home. Selling Kai would be as hard as selling Maguire. Yeah, that's true. We've got Megan in the chat as well. Big up yourself, Megan. Hello, Brandon. How's it going? Man City sold Laporte, Gundo, Mahrez, Cancelo, and signed Kovacic, Guardiola, Doku, and probably a swap deal for Nunes, and give them James McAtee. Great business by Manchester City. That is how a football club should be run. Bearing in mind, this is a team that won the treble last season, and they ain't messing around in no transfer market. They've gone out, they've sold the players that need to be moved on. Your Laportes, your Gundowans, your Mahrez's, your Cancelos, right? And they've brought in players. I'm not saying that, their replacements are 100% better than the players that they've let go. But that's more like it. That's more like it. Guardiola, they've addressed their defensive, not that they had any defensive issues anyway, because they had the best defensive record in the league last season, but they've made their defense stronger, even stronger than what it was before. Doku's a very good player as well. Nunes in the midfield can do that Gundogan role. And look, anybody who wants to know how to run a football club, you just have to look at Manchester City. Simple as. Kevar, big up yourself, Kevar. Jay says, we're in a bit of trouble, mate. 100% we're in a bit of trouble. Luke says, evening, Brandon. Evening, Luke. How we doing? Taib says, Brandon, good evening. I'm not happy with Edu and Arteta's transfer business. Only half done, but they won't buy for other areas needed for squad improvement. And this is the thing. Anybody who thinks that we're, as soon as Manchester United comes around this weekend, we're going to completely go away from this Thomas Partey at right back situation, think again. We will see this. We will see this system once again this season. We will see Thomas Partey playing at right back again this season. I can guarantee you that one right now, because if we don't go into the transfer market, well, we ain't got a choice really, have we? Send Rob Holding back to Bolton. Yeah, it's funny actually because there's quite a lot of Spanish teams interested in Rob Holding, to be fair. Sevilla, there's Boca Juniors. Apparently there's a few Premier League clubs that would take him as well. So, I'd take 30 quid for Nuno Tavares. This is what I mean, Jay. Arsenal's transfer business is weird, right? Weird. Because only 9 days ago, Forest was willing to pay 30 million. So if they're willing to pay 30 million, you at least get somewhere near that. Instead, what we've done is go, you can have him on loan for £1 million. And you can maybe buy him for 12 million if he does a good enough job for you. What is this? What is this? If you're going to put a buy option in there, at least make it 25 million pound. Especially if they was willing to spend up to 30 million pound. Instead, we've gone, that's cool, 12 million. 12 million. Unreal. We need defenders. Why are we sending defenders on loan? What can I say? Should have kept Kieran Tierney. Whatever possessed Arteta to spend 65 million on Kai, the boy Arteta has lost the plot. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Arsenal should just took the 30 million, in my opinion, for Tavares. Yeah, this is the weird thing about that situation, though. Apparently, it was Nuno Tavares that rejected Nottingham Forest because he was waiting in the wings for other football clubs to come in for him. That never ended up happening or materialising. And now Forest to come back in for him again, and he said yes. So, Arsenal got to broker better deals. Or, just say to him, nah, you ain't waiting around, sunshine. We're taking the 30 million pound for you. Get out. And that's it. So, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how Arsenal run. Jay says, I cannot believe we've let Tierney go to play Kivior left back. Absolute shambles. What can I say? But, mate, if you can't see what Arteta is doing, then you can F off down the lane. Oh, I love that one. Love that one. Thomas Partey season at right back, Brandon. Yeah, exactly. Mohamed El Neni seems to have gone under the radar. Deadwood original, part of Arsene Wenger's stupidity. Do you know what? Just while we're on air and while we're live, let's just have a look at this. Just to amuse everyone. When did Mohamed El Neni join Arsenal? Mohamed El Neni joined Arsenal back in January 2016. And we're in 2023 and he's still here. Unbelievable. Arsenal fans do suck off Arteta too much. Exactly. Fulham 1-0 up against Spurs at half time, by the way. Interesting. Ali says, big up Brandon, transfer business is over. Who has said that? I missed the start. I'm just saying, bro, it looks like Arsenal's transfer business is over. When you add it all together, put 2 and 2 together, to get 4, we have to sell to buy, and we're not selling quick enough. So what can I say, bro? It doesn't look like we're going to be entering the transfer market to get any more players. That is for sure. Kev says we're going to finish 6th or 7th. Jesus, Kev. Wagner says out of the top 6. Jeez. Ali says 5th to 6th. To be honest, I tell you this: if this happens, guys, it will be a disaster season. Absolute disaster. 3 games in, and I already lost all the enthusiasm for this season. Arteta is another Ollie. Potentially, yeah, definitely. Zinchenko is made of polystyrene. He sure is. He's made of polystyrene, and Tomiyasu's made of glass. So, what can we do? 3 of Arsenal then this season. Yeah, I'm coming to Man City with you, Megan. I'm coming to Man City. 16 likes, like and subscribe. There's 33 of you in here. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Like I said, we're only 79 away from 2,000. If we can get there by the end of this month, in the next 2 days, I'll give out 5 free memberships. So yeah, Jay says 6th. Jesus, 6th. I can't wait for the excuses from the Gooner. If that comes to pass, well, we'll see. This club is back to square one step forward, 3 steps backwards. It's always been the same at Arsenal. You go 1 step forward, you go 3 steps back, and a lot of it's down to our transfer dealings, unfortunately. Zinchenko will probably miss games to go and do a tour of virtual signaling, potentially. Gabriel wants the Saudi money, I think. Hey, look, you can't blame him. You can't blame him if Saudi came knocking and they're offering that sort of money. A football career is short. Do you know what I mean? A football career is short. So, it's certainly enter your thinking, no doubt. But Arsenal should have been prepared for this. If there was potential that he'd be going to Saudi, we should have a replacement lined up ready to go. But we don't seem like we have. So, it is what it is. We need a striker, a midfielder, and a defender, and people think we are challenging for the title. Yeah, it's laughable, isn't it? Zinchenko, yeah. Our depth is worse than last season if we don't get more players in. There you go. What can I say? Only Mikel Arteta could spend £240 million and make our squad worse. Do you know what I mean? That don't make no sense. On that note, Brandon, wait until the Champions League starts and we start dropping points left, right, and centre, thanks to a now worse squad depth. Exactly. Arsenal 0, Man United 3 if Havertz plays. Believe me. God, Jesus Christ. We ain't getting out of the Champions League group and don't know who we are up against yet. Interesting. Mickey Mouse Arteta. Yeah. I mean, what can I say? Arsenal fan transfer scouting 2 says they're not up in arms because it's a cult. Arteta's the charismatic leader that mustn't be criticised and you must follow blindly. Those that don't fall for his BS are kicked out like Balogun is. Interesting, but I agree. Raya should start on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, you have to look at the Ramsdale situation. I thought it was his fault for the second goal. He didn't organise the defence properly. And one of your roles as a goalkeeper is to organise the defence at dead ball situations, and he didn't do it. And then, of course, the first goal, well, he was miles off his line and shouldn't have been. So, yeah, maybe it's time to bring in David Raya now. Definitely. But every top Gooner acts like it's a stroke of genius. Not one of them looked across at Chelsea over the last 3 years and said that Havertz would be a great signing for us. Exactly. They're all full of you know what. Who else have we got in here? We got Hengadi says, I actually thought it was a joke when I heard about the Havertz signing. I simply could not believe it for 65 million as well. Well, Arteta knows best, my friend. Arteta knows best. Oh, hang on. Where's my comments gone? There we are. Sean says, Kai Havertz, he's tall, fast. He's a good footballing brain. Who is he like from the past? I'm trying to work out how we are going to use him and where. Is he like a Ryan Babel who was at Liverpool? I think that's disrespectful to Ryan Babel, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to watching Arsenal versus Man United on Sunday. I will be watching. Yes, there'll be a match reaction to that. Hopefully a more happier one, but we'll see. I can't see it, to be honest with you. Yeah, but you're not allowed to think that or form your own opinion, because if you do have an agenda and are negative, yeah, exactly. Farteta, yeah. We've signed no one. Timber injured. Kai is not a signing. Rice replaces Xhaka. Yeah. No Shaw, no Varane, no Højlund. I think Højlund will be playing for Man United at the weekend. As far as I'm being told, Højlund will be fit and probably won't start the game, but he will be on the bench or available for the bench. I know Varane is out. I know Shaw is out. So it should be, by all rights, a comfortable victory for Arsenal. You know, Man United are missing two of their main defenders. So we should absolutely breeze past them, especially at home. But I guarantee it don't work out like that. Arsenal have a chance with those 3 injuries. Will be a close game. We should beat them. It's at the Emirates as well. We should beat them. If millions of Arsenal fans made their own top 50 wish list for players they wanted for Arsenal, Havertz's name would not be on a single list. I don't even think he'd be in the top 200, mate, to be honest with you. I'm thinking third. Luke says third. Okay. We started the window well with signings, but again, can't we sell our deadwood? All seems to be loans. Exactly. Loan. I really hope that ESR links are just rumours. You never know with this football club, my friend. Agreed, mate, but the top gooners would never admit to that. They all wanted Havertz and can see why Arteta did too, apparently. Exactly that. Exactly. Big up, Steve, in the building. Would you take Mudryk plus cash for ESR? No, I wouldn't. I didn't want Mudryk at Arsenal anyway. You can, if you don't believe me, you could go back and check my content that I did on Always Arsenal channel and all the rest of them. I said, don't want Mudryk. And look, once again, I've turned out to be right. Maybe they should have me as manager. Lee Gunner is on loan at Man City for another 2 years, Brandon, so why not? Exactly. What is it with the word agenda that is being thrown around about Havertz? Can the fan base not admit when a player doesn't fit into our team? No, of course they can't, because it was a Mikel Arteta signing. So you can't admit to things like that, mate. Jesus, you know, you might become, you might get called negative, like us realists over here. Even though lots of us fans, the pundits, ex-pros, and football experts can't see why we brought Havertz either. Top gooners know best. Exactly. The same frustrations we had with Wenger in his last few years is replicated with Mikel. We haven't progressed. We have regressed, despite the mad donkey Mikel saying we are 10 times better. I couldn't agree with that statement more as well, you know. I feel like we've regressed this season, definitely. I think Arteta is too high on weed, to be honest. Quite possible. Steve, I'm watching 3 live streams. This and James Redmond and Hussam on Liverpool channel and Northside. I subscribe to many channels. Sometimes it's hard to choose what one. Sometimes I do both, or best for me. Big up yourself, Steve. Appreciate you watching, as always. Don't get me wrong, I like Ramsdale, but too many mistakes lately, 100%. Megan says, do you agree with some Arsenal fans telling me Ramsdale is better than Ederson? Jesus Christ. You can't be serious. Nah, I don't believe that, mate. There can't be any Arsenal fans telling you that, Megan. No way. 22 likes. Keep them likes coming up, guys. Make sure you're sharing the content. Make sure you're subscribing. I could understand if Havertz wanted away from Chelsea and we got him cheap, but we made him one of our big signings. It's mad. Exactly, it is mad. Brandon, you wouldn't get this at Newcastle if they went through a blip. They would still be back in the club in the south. The so-called Arsenal fans are only happy if they can complain at everything. Okay, interesting. What player has Arteta actually improved, being that he's such a genius of a manager? That's true. Thanks for the hairband memories, Rob Holding. Jog on. I like that. Apparently, Man United are getting Cucurella on loan from Chelsea. Yeah, that's true. They've agreed terms with Cucurella. I mean, Cucurella is not a bad player, but there's a reason why he isn't playing for Chelsea right now. So Man United are in the bit of the mud as well. Do you know what I mean? Like these two so-called powerhouses, Arsenal and Man United, they just don't know how to run a football club properly. I don't want ESR to move, but he had to blame. So would you? He has to play. So would you blame him? No, of course I wouldn't. He has to play. Yeah. It seems like our signings are done. Do you think we will get someone before the transfer window shuts? I can't see it, to be honest. See, I'd be more confident if we was being linked to players, but I've scoured through the internet and that, and I can't find any, links that are legitimate. Let's just say for Arsenal. I genuinely can't. Obviously there's the big fanboy accounts that go, "Oh yes, we're going to get this player and this player." Like, come on, mate, make it believable. We're not going back into the market. If we do, it will be a stopgap signing or a loan signing, and that's it. I don't want ESR to leave, but who would blame him? He deserves to play. Yes, 100%. But Newcastle are not Arsenal, says Jay. Cucumber, more like. Get behind your team, you Lee Gunner negative wannabe. Okay, my friend. Like I said to you before, we'll come back to the stream in a couple of months' time, and we'll see if you're still saying the same thing. Yeah, we'll see. I can only see a defensive loan, says Scott. Jay says, yeah. Let's forget about that guy, right? Because we all know he's going to change his tune in a couple of months' time. But there you go. Yes, how dare we complain? Let's just all accept and be happy with every single thing the club does. Be the quiet, obedient customers the club want us to be. Exactly. Shut up. People can support Arsenal how they want, and I will support Arsenal how I want. It doesn't matter what anybody on here says. You can all abuse me. I will still be back here tomorrow and the next day, making content, keeping it real as I can. I'll praise the club when they do well. I'll criticize the club when they don't. And that's just how it is. And, too many people don't want to criticize the club. So you have to have some realism and you have to have some form of a reality check. And, whether you like it or whether you don't, I'll be here giving it to people. So, it's up to you, isn't it? You don't have to watch Maddock. Stop being your name. He's an Arsenal fan he's an Arsenal fan. We all are, but ain't just gonna sit here and pretend everything is rosy. Yeah, exactly, Jay. He's a troll, mate. He's a troll. Let him crack on. I can say what I want as well. We've got worse, and we're looking to sell our good players and not bring anyone in. It's a mess. Exactly. How's it going, Brandon? Big up yourself, Hawkwind. How are we doing? Sandro Tonali at Newcastle looks like a great player. Why could we not make a signing like that? It's so frustrating. We could have had Maddison, to be honest with you. For the price that we paid for Kai Havertz, we could have had James Maddison and Mohamed Kudus. But there you go. What do I know? The type of individual who'll bend over and take it up the arse without asking questions. How are the lads? Hey, say what you like, my friend. Say what you like. He's a Newcastle fan. They're doing well. Yeah. And look, I don't mind any fans from any football club. You can always, in fact, Madik, since you're so big and hard and want to come in the chat here and give it all the big one, you can always come on and debate me, my friend. Not a problem. I'll send you the link. No worries whatsoever. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up just there. 10 men Liverpool, Nunes times 2. Yeah, exactly. You tell him. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. If there's any more transfer news, of course, I'll be making more content. We'll be back on Thursday for the Champions League draw, of course. Make sure you're hitting the likes on the way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to do that. Make sure you're sharing the content around, guys, as well. If we can get to 2,000 subs by the end of this month, that would be excellent. And yeah, that's all. That's all for now, guys. I'll be back on Thursday